So, good day, sir. We are here to report the public water treatment and distribution. So, stages of public water distribution are the collection, screening, and straining, coagulation or flocculation, sedimentation and clarification, filtration, disinfection, storage, and the last one is distribution. So let's talk about first the collection. So community water system obtain water from two sources, which are the surface water and groundwater. So surface water is water that collects on the ground or in a stream, river, lake, reservoir, or ocean. While groundwater, which is obtained by drilling wells, is water located below the ground surface in pores and space in the rock. There must be a method to get this water to the water treatment plant. Quite often, a series of pumps and pipelines transport the water to the treatment plant. At the water plant, large pumps are used to transfer the water up to the treatment facility. So treatment facilities are often engineered to utilize gravity water flow as much as possible to reduce pumping cost. Many treatment plants utilize water from more than one source. Blending ground water with surface water is a method often used to improve the quality of the final product. So, collection, this is will focuses on the two main sources of water, which is the surface water and the groundwater. So, yung surface water, ito ay matatagpuan sa stream, rivers, lake, reservoir. So, yun yung surface waters. And then, yung groundwater naman, ito yung mga tulad ng poso, ganun. Poso. Most likely poso talaga yung mga poso. So, next slide. So, sources of water. So, example, so aquifers or groundwater. So, primary source of drinking water, porous, consolidate rock or unconsolidated soil, groundwater, fill space, wells, and pumps used to remove water. So, these are the picture. So, groundwater, alam na natin groundwater, ito yung nagmumula, yung tubig na nagmumula sa ilalim ng lupa. So, ito nga yan. So, tulad niyan, ito, yung well system natin. So, alam ko, particular na yung opinion sa inyo, or alam nyo na yan. So, the next slide is the sources of water. So, surface water. So, ito nga yung mga lakes, reservoirs, rivers. So, river dam to create reservoirs. So, reservoir stored water during heavy rain and snow. So, these are the pictures. So, ayan. Next slide. So, next is screening and straining. So, from the word screening and straining, so, basahin muna natin. So, if you think about surface water source, lakes, rivers, and reservoirs, you realize they contain varying amounts of suspended and dissolved materials. These materials may include turbidity, color, taste, odor, microorganisms, fish, plants, trees, trash, etc. The material may be organic or inorganic, suspended or dissolved, inert or biologically active, and vary in size from colloidal to a tree trunk. So some of these large items can equip in the treatment process, such as tree limb getting stuck in a water pump impeller. So the first process in conventional water treatment is to screen or strain out the large items. This of this is often accomplished using a large metal screen often called a bar screen, which is placed in front of the water source intake. Large items are trapped on the screen as the water passes through it. This screen must root, 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 routinely be wrapped or cleaned off. So, from the word screening or straining, or yung screening and straining, so alam na natin from the word itself. So, parang sa madaling salita, pagsasala sa tubig or yung paglilinis. So, ito ay ginagamitan ng, sabi dito, large metals screen and also called the bar screen. So, yung bar screen na yun, meron yung screen na nagsasala dun sa tubig. Kaya tinawag siya screen and straining. So, ito yung picture na yun. So, this.
So, my name is J.E.Nepomuceno, and here's the third phase of the report. Water supply screening. The letter A is the screen, and here the letter B is the pipe here, and the letter C bypass pipe, and here. The next one, water supply screening bar screen. And this is the actual picture, the bar screen. Water supply screen. Coagulation or flocculation. The coagulation process involves adding iron or aluminum salts, such as aluminum sulfate, ferric chloride, or polymers, to the untreated water or raw water. Raw water is the unfiltered water. It's like groundwater or tubig po sa mga parang ganun. When mixed with the water, this causes the tiny particles of dirt present to stick together or coagulate. These groups of dirt particles then join to form larger, heavier particles called flocks, which are easier to remove by settling or filtration. Water supply coagulation. This is the process. Pag naglagay, when do we put the coagulant dead? When do we put the coagulant? Yan, magkakahiwalay pa siya. Then, coagulant force precipitate topping impurities. Then, magdidikit-dikit hanggang sa, ito na, bababa na sila sa baba. Magda-down na. Precipitate and drop impurities settle to bottom. Public water treatment and distribution. Sedimentation and clarification. As the water and the flock particles progress through the treatment process, they move into sedimentation tanks. Here, the water moves slowly, causing the heavy flock particles to settle to the bottom. The flock that collects at the bottom of the tank is called sludge. Yung nasa baba nga daw na nakukuha, ang tawag nga daw doon ay nakukuha sa baba ng tank ay tawag nga sludge. And is the pipe and is piped to drying lagoons. In direct filtration, the sedimentation step is not included, and the flock is removed filtration only.
So the next slide is water supply sedimentation. So sedimentation is the process of separation of suspended solids from the water of gravitational settling. So suspended solids may be organic if the waterways is subjected to preliminary treatment. And we have four main zone in conventional sedimentation basin. So the first one is influent zone na tinatawag. So this is where the water enters in the tank. As the water moves through the tank, it enters the settling zone. So Etong influence zone, dito pumapasok yung ating water na pupunta sa ating settling zone. So pag sinabi naman ating settling zone, this is where the suddenly takes place of the particles that will settle out, and at the end of the basin is the effluent zone. So yung effluent zone, ito naman yung the water leaves the basin. So and the bottom we have the sludge zone, or ito yung the sludge treatment disposal. So it is where the settled solid collect. So sila yung mga nagko-collect ng mga solid. And the next one is filtration. So filtration, clarified water enters the filters from the top. Gravity pulls the water down through the filters, where it is collected in a drain system at the bottom of the unit. There are many different types of materials, media, used in filters. The most common being sand and gravel. Many conventional plants are now using granule activated carbon as the media of choice, because it is not only provides excellent mechanical filtration of particulate matter, but also removes organic compounds which can cause taste and odor problems. So filtration, it is a common mechanical or physical process which is used for separation. So siya yung nag-separate from solid from liquids. So and pwede rin naman liquids to gases. So by interposing the medium through which only the fluid can pass. So the next one is water supply filtration. So dito pinapakita yung pag-filter ng water. So water is collected in reservoir. So dito nga sa reservoir, andito yung water na i-filter, and the water sent to sedimentation tank. So dito siya mapupunta and to allow the solids to settle. So and then the second tank, mapupunta naman yung tubig na galing sa sedimentation tank, or yung tinatawag nilang loading tank, at para ma-sediment the suspended impurities. And after sa loading tank, mapupunta na siya sa ngayon sa filtration tank, which is andito na naka-filter niya sa dito. Kumbaga, ito na yung first layer, ito na yung coarse gravel, and then yung the second layer is yung gravel, and then yung the third layer, ito na yung fine sand, and the last layer is yung water na mapupunta na sa chlorination to kill bacteria. So itong water na to is na mapupunta na siya doon sa chlorination, na i-disinfect na para magamit na siya sa mga bahay natin, yung mga daloy ng tubig na pwede nating magamit, katulad na lang sa ating mga eskwelahan or sa ating mga mall. And the next one is disinfection. So dito na i-disinfect yung water na galing sa filtration. So once the water has gone through the filtration process, it is about as clear and clean as it can get. However, so there may still be bacteria and viruses remaining. So sabi nga dito na kapag nawala na siya sa filtration process, malinaw na siya at malinis. Pero however, there may still, sabi dito, na meron pa ding bacteria and viruses na natitira. And to ensure these are destroyed, there must be disinfection process employed. So para nga daw talaga ma-ensure natin na na-destroy na yung mga bacteria and viruses, i-disinfect natin siya. So the most common disinfection process used in chlorination. So gagamit tayo ng chlorination or yung chlorine. So chlorine comes in many different forms, include chlorine gas, most common, chlorine dioxide, hypochlorite, bleach, and others. So whichever method is used in chlorine is added to the water in the amount of to ensure all microorganisms are destroyed. So water plants monitor and chlorine levels continuously and very carefully in treated water. They must add enough chlorine to ensure true disinfection of the water, but avoid adding excess that can cause taste and odor problem when delivered to the consumer. So, the next slide is water supply disinfection. So, dito sa slide na to, pinakita lang kung paano yung process ng pag-disinfection. So, after nga natin matanggal yung mga particles, it only remains to provide disinfection so that no pathogens remains in the water. So, mawawalan na siya ng pathogens. And protozoans pathogens are large in size and have been removed under the particles. So, yung chlorine is highly effective method of disinfection na kayang pumatay ng mga bacteria and viruses sa water or sa tubig. Kaya yung chlorine talaga ang pagpatay ng ibang bacteria and viruses na natitira magkatapos ma-filter yung ating tubig. And the next reporter is J.D.T.Igsoc.
Public water treatment and distribution. Storage. Once the disinfection process is complete, the water is stored. Storage usually takes place in underground storage tank called a clear well, and also in elevated storage tanks that are visible around town. There must always be an example supply of water available in the event of emergencies. This can include power outage, fires, floods, and etc. As we can see, this is the water storage. Dito, ini-store yung mga water once na-disinfect na ito or nasala na ito. Distribution. So how does the water come out of your kitchen? The stored water is pushed through underground pipelines all over town in what is called a distribution system. The distribution system consists of large water pumps at the treatment plants overhead, water storage tanks, large pipelines, fire hydrants, bulbs, and water meters in your front yard. As we can see, it is the water distribution. And makikita natin sa picture, this is the pumping station, and then yung sa taas naman, yun na yung doon na nila dinidisinfect or hinahaluan ng chlorine yung tubig para ma-disinfect and para ma-distribute na niya sa mga bahay-bahay. As we can see, this is the water supply distribution or pumping station. Ito, yung makikita nyo is, ito yung tinatawag na pumping station. Water supply distribution stages. There are 3 stages in water supply distribution. And one is source. Then, sa source, dito natin nakikita yung, or dito nagmumula yung mga tubig natin. And then sa treatment, doon na nila sinasala or dinidisinfect or nilalagyan ng chlorine yung tubig. And then sa distribution, doon nila na ini-stored or sa clear well, doon na nila ini-stored yung ating tubig once na na-disinfect ito or nasala na. And pagkatapos nun, dinidistribute na nila ito sa mga bahay-bahay or pagka may emergencies tulad ng mga fires, floods, and etc. Yun lamang po. Thank you.